Nottingham is a food delivery boy. The date is 2nd April 10:30 p.m. He is going for his last delivery before his daily shift is over. He reaches his destination and knocks on the door. A young lady of around 18 years of age opens the door and sees Nottingham.
"Here's your order."
She takes the box and gives Nottingham money.
"Thank you for ordering. I wish you a very good night."
While Nottingham was going towards his bike, he hears a huge inhale and a strange sound which seemed like someone is controlling his crying. The sound came from the door, so he went back there. Orlean hadn't gotten back inside yet. Nottingham asks her whether she was the one who made that sound. She says no, but her voice didn't match her words. Nottingham understands this and asks her whether everything is okay. She slowly breaks down and says,
"What does it matter to you?"
Nottingham gives a smile and reply,
"Yes, you are right. It doesn't matter anything to me. I think I should be going. By the way, happy birthday."
Nottingham says this and starts to walk back towards his bike. Orlean suddenly calls him and asks,
"Hey you, how do you know it's my birthday?"
To which Nottingham replies,
"I don't think there is any other reason for a sad girl living in a rented apartment ordering a cake other than her birthday."
Orlean is shell-shocked. She can't believe that there is someone who knows about her so much even though they have met for the first time. Nottingham replies that,
"I have a gifted superpower. I can read faces, and based on someone two talks I can make as many guesses about a person like is he happy, what kind of person he is, what is his nature, what is he going to say next. And since you live in an apartment where young people usually who are preparing for some exam leave and ordered a cake, I can easily figure out that you leave alone and it's your birthday. And based on the way you talk to me, it's no big task to say that you are frustrated with life and doesn't have someone to talk to. Am I right?"
Hearing this, Orlean suddenly breaks into tears. She starts to sob badly and continues crying for a few moments. Nottingham asks her that if there is anything she wants to say she can do it since his shift is over and now he will be going back home. Orlean slows down sobbing and says,
"You are the first guy who wished me birthday. What species of human are you? Despite talking to my friends' family so much, they never understood me like you did in these few moments."
"Well, everyone says this to me. By the way, do you feel like now? It's good to cry sometimes. According to psychology, crying is actually good for yourself as it helps to release your emotions and—"
Okay, I understood. And yes, I feel light. I feel like a burden has been reduced."
"Never ever control your emotions. The more you control them, the worse they get."
"I wish it was that easy."
"Okay, never mind."
Nottingham starts to walk back again, but Orlean stops her again.
"What is wrong with you? Why are you in such a hurry? How can I let the only guy who wished me birthday and treated me better than my family and friends leave without a treat? Come inside. You have time, right?"
"Yes, I have, and I usually don't reject such offers."
Nottingham enters the room. They sit together and starts eating up the cake. They have a fun time together. They laugh. They share thoughts. They live the moment. And after finishing the cake, Orlean asks him if he had 5-6 more minutes because she has to ask him something. Nottingham replies that,
"I leave alone, so it doesn't matter for me whether how late I go back."
Orlean gives a smile and asks him,
"Why are you so nice? I have never met someone behave so nice to a stranger."
It's a long and complex story which may feel boring and very filmy.
"Doesn't matter, just tell me."
So the story goes way back in my 10th class. Till 9th standard I was a very bright student. I would score at least 85 to 90% in almost every exams, but in 10th grade my performance started to go downhill, maybe because I shifted and changed my previous school and went to a new school, and that experience was quite horrible for me. In my previous school I was quite famous for being a good student and player as well as a good human. No one hated me there. Everyone was well behaving, chill and supportive. But when I changed the city and school in 10th standard, things went out of control. The class in which I studied was the worst experience I am going to have in my entire life. The class was full of shameless animals. They were so abusive, so violent, so illiterate, so selfish that they didn't care about anyone's feelings. They would do as they please. In my earlier days at that school I would be continuously bullied for being a well-behaved human. I didn't used to bring lunch because I didn't felt like eating those days, and I also didn't had any friends, so I would either roam in the corridor or do my homeworks. But the bullies would continuously disturb me by abusing. I told them many times to not do it, but they never understood it. They were inhumane. And not just students. The teachers were no less. They would give 20-30 pages of work on the online school group and give a very small deadline. And in exams the chapters were so big that it would become impossible to study each one of them. Teachers would also waste most of the time on unnecessary speeches of how obedient students they were in their time. There was never a studying atmosphere. The sports ground was trash. There were barely 5 equipments for games, period. I would most of the time stay alone instead of mixing up with those students. In my bus too there were tons of illiterates who would shout abuse and fight the entire 1 hour way without thinking that there are young kids and students who had a rough day. One day I accidentally sat on a barely third grader's seat because there was no one there. The kid was so disrespectful I couldn't understand what kind of school is this. Is this how the students here treat a stranger? I am not asking for respect as a senior. I wanted him to behave respectfully because I was a stranger. That was the day this statement stormed my mind. The way you behave with a stranger tells everything about you. This toxic behavior just destroyed my inner soul. I would face this every day and my performance degraded. And the teachers who knew nothing about my past would keep on making illogical guesses about what kind of student I am. I complained to my mom tons of time that I am fed up of this school and I want to change it. But instead of understanding it, my mom simply said, "You are not the only one facing this, don't give excuses, just tolerate it for 2 more years and then go wherever you want." This line broke me. Despite scoring so good for a decade, this is what I get at my worst time. And my elder sister would also take full advantage of this. Every time she would see me not studying, she would pass on comments like, "I am spoiled, I don't want to study anymore, the neighbor kids are far better." These statements would usually land us in heated arguments. Slowly I stopped talking to my family members and would spend most of time talking to myself or writing my diary about how I feel. I would try my best to make sure that no one finds out because I was already tired enough of those judgments to end myself already. Slowly I started talking to myself, which almost made me forget my identity. I just wanted to have someone to whom I could talk to openly, but sadly, I didn't. I would not talk, not pay attention to anyone, not eat properly and keep a hanging face all the time. Somehow I managed to make it out of that school after 3 years of extreme suffering, but that period still haunts me. Since the day I left that school I decided that no matter what happens there are 4 rules I will always follow. Never be disrespectful towards a stranger, always try to understand someone's point of view, take some time talking to someone and glowing his life. Worst period in someone's life is the best time to find out who truly deserves them. I left that school at 17 and now I am 22. Now I always feel cool and follow my 4 rules. Working as delivery boy to meet my daily expenses for my studies and hostel. I actually don't have much to spend on, so I actually enjoy this work. Traveling and meeting new people, then going to home and study and rest according to my choice. It's good. This was the end of my story. How did you feel?
Orlean sat silent for a few seconds before she raised her head and said,
You don't have slightest of idea that you just narrated my entire life line to line. You literally went through the same period I am going.
Always remember, you are never the only one who is feeling a specific emotion. There are more people outside who feel the same way you do, so that's why it's important to understand others. You said that it's not easy to take out emotions. You can just write them in a notebook. Writing in a notebook is better because you have to remember and write every letter, whereas in devices you get autocorrect and suggestions. By the way, it's already too late and it's not appropriate to stay at someone's house for so long at night.
Okay, but tell me your name, I literally forgot to ask.
Nottingham, Nottingham, Brunswick. And what is yours?
Orlean Messer, can I have your number?
Sure.
Before leaving Orlean's house, Nottingham hugs her and say,
Thank you for the party, it was great. By the way, take this money. This was the cake's cost, but now this cake is a gift from me. And don't try to give it back, you give it I run away.
Orlean hugs him back and say,
Thank you for your time. You are the greatest human I have ever seen. Why can't there be more like you?